Kentucky fans are not talking enough about these players we're going to discuss on today's episode of the Wildcats Today podcast. I'm your host, Andrew Stefaniak, writer and editor over at Kentucky Wildcats on SI, joined as always by my co-host, Carson Nash. Carson, how are we feeling today? It is almost Friday.
Well, yeah, so I woke up this morning and on my way to work, I walked outside and I was like, ooh, a little crisp in the air this morning. Another day,
Football.
getting closer to football. I can't wait to hear those words. I can't wait to hear them.
It is now Saturday Eve in a week. A week.
9 days.
Precisely. Indubitably. Undoubtedly true. But let's get straight into it. The first player that Kentucky fans aren't talking enough about is Deon Walker. And listen, I'm just kidding. That was supposed to be a joke. But, Carson, who is the first player that you think Kentucky fans aren't talking enough about?
Yeah, I think, my first one on my list is his name's Gerald Mincey. He came from Tennessee. He played offensive line there. And, last year Kentucky had some glaring struggles on the offensive line. And so I think he's a piece that could come in, and I think he'll be our starting right tackle alongside Marquez Cox on the other side. But I think he's a huge piece we added. It'll provide more stability on the line, and he's a real good player. He played for Tennessee a bunch, and I'm excited for the addition of him.
I agree. I mean, I think shoring up that offensive line, it just was not good last year. And while Devin Leary had his struggles last season, there's no question there. Obviously, drops played a role in that, but the offensive line did not help our guy out much.
And that right tackle position struggled, if anyone remembers. So I think shoring up that right side of the offensive line will be a huge help because, you got Eli holding it down at center, and then you really just were missing that outside piece on the right side.
Yeah. I mean, you feel really good about your center and your left tackle. And you did. And now you kind of go, okay, but they added pieces. I think guys have developed. Do I feel great about the offensive line? No, I do not feel great. Do I feel better than I did last year? Yes, I do feel better this year. So, I mean, the offensive line, it's just so crucial. You have a solid stable of running backs. You have a quarterback who I think is going to be great. You have elite room of receivers. For that all to function, your offensive line has to give quarterback time, the receivers time to get open, the running back holes to run through. It all goes through the offensive line. You can have a great set of skill position players, and if your offensive line sucks, you're going to suck. So you got to have a good line, and I think, is it going to be elite? No. Is it going to be better than last year's? Yes. And I don't think it has to be elite. I think it just has to be good. I'd love it to be elite. But
I think you have enough skilled players to have an okay to good offensive line and still get to where your goals are.
Exactly. I mean, I'd love it to be the big.
I would love to have a great offensive line. We love the big boys here, but and maybe it will be. Maybe people have developed into becoming better players, and these additions will propel it to be a good to great offensive line. So we got a new coach, Eric Wolford. I mean, not new, but came back from Kentucky after his time at Alabama. So you got a good coach who can develop and find talent. Wolford is actually the key piece in bringing Deon Walker to Kentucky. So I know he's on the defensive end, but he's found he got Keontae Goodwin to commit. I know he didn't end up working out, but he can see talent, and he's a good recruiter, a good developer. So I'm getting more excited about the Big Blue Wall.
You know what school he came from?
Who, Wolford?
Yeah.
Oh, well, I knew he was at Alabama, but no, I don't know before then.
Well, yeah, no, I mean, I came from Bama, but you know who moved him to Lexington?
Oh yeah, give a shout out.
Vincent Pfister Moving Company, the only place that you should ever use to move. Great company, great people. If you're ever moving, that needs to be your first phone call. So
and now Mike owes us each a beer.
And what?
So now Mike owes us each a beer. Free plug.
Yes, there you go. Free plug. And they actually moved all of the they moved Coach Pope. They moved all the coaches. Pretty cool.
Yeah, no. Great company.
Family-owned business. Check them out. But My first guy here is Demisumo Karmbe. And I'll tell you, I've heard chatter about him. You hear people talking about him a little bit, but we got to get this through our head. He is RB1 for the near future until Chip is back from the broken. It was hand, right? Broken hand.
Yeah, broken hand.
Yeah.
It shouldn't, and his injury shouldn't be that long. I mean, I'm thinking worst case scenario, he just misses the South Carolina game after, of course, this game.
Yes.
That's worst case scenario. So I could see him maybe even getting snaps in the South Carolina game.
But that's, I mean, once again, do I think South Carolina is going to be an elite team? No, but I mean, you can't fall over yourself there. I like their quarterback, Sellers. I think he's
Norris Sellers. How about them goggles?
Okay, come on now. Come on.
No, he looks like Kareem. He's got those glasses out there.
I mean, I'm a big Sellers guy. I think he's a good player.
No, I think so too. I wasn't making fun of him. I actually think it's kind of cool. Okay. It's like Rodrigo Blankenship.
Some people wear glasses, dude.
Well, he wears goggles. Like he doesn't wear contacts.
Might as well call him Four Eyes. You are just
you Four Eyes. That's fine.
Whatever. Fine. But so Demisumo Karmbe, he was good last year. I think people forget Ray Davis was incredible.
Oh yeah.
Incredible.
He's going to be a touchdown vulture this year too in the NFL.
You think so?
I think he is.
I want to draft him. I've decided I want to start drafting players that I've interviewed for my fantasy football team. Like
that'd be kind of cool.
Yeah, like that's like when I took Bryce Young in one draft because I was like, oh, it's cool. I could say I've interviewed this guy and it feels
didn't
cool.
Work out great, but
no, it didn't work out. No, it didn't work out great. But we got Brock Bowers this year too, so hopefully that'll work.
Oh yeah,
but he's going to be the dude for a couple weeks. Demisumo Karmbe is, and so he's got to be good because here's the deal. I was talking with my dad about this morning about Kentucky's schedule with the 4 games, Carson, that you and I have talked about. You got 4. We're not going to call them losses, but we're going to call them they're on life support kind of games on the schedule. You're probably best case scenario go 1-3 in those games.
Yeah,
you cannot fall over yourself against South Carolina. Can't do it. So you're going to need your running back, Coach Stoops, Coach, Bush. He's going to want to run the ball a little bit. They're going to want to run the football. I've heard they want to be more balanced this year. They're going to air it out some, but still, they're going to ground and pound this football. And you know that. I don't care the coach speak. They're running the football. That's just what they're going to do a little bit.
100%.
So Demisumo Karmbe is going to play a big role against South Carolina. You know what I mean? A significant role.
And I like what he does out of the backfield receiving wise.
Exactly.
He's a receiving back too.
He's not going away when Chip is back healthy from
no, he'll play some slot. Yes. He'll play he'll be involved.
He's a gadget guy. You will find a way to use him. So that is my number 1 guy on this list. Carson, who else do you have on yours?
Yeah, my next one, and this will kind of help our defense. His name's Tyrese Fearby. He played on special teams mostly last year. I mean, he's got in some limited snaps.
He was in the 2 deep.
Yeah, he was very high ranked out of high school. He's an edge rusher. The problem with him is JJ was in front of him last year, so it was hard for him to see the field because of course JJ Weaver's really good. But now that other side opened up because Wade transferred. So I can see him making a big impact, and he played really, really good on special teams last year.
Yeah.
So I think he's going to be huge for us. He's 6'5". He's typical edge rusher you see in the SEC. He's got size, speed. People fear him for sure.
How many sacks? Give me a number. Scare me. Say 5. Do it, you coward. Say 5. Say it.
I'll say 4.
Oh, boo.
Yeah, 5's a lot.
He's got that natural pass rushing frame.
Yeah.
And I agree with you. I think he's a guy that's
now his junior season, I'm gonna go 5.
Yeah.
I mean, he's just a sophomore.
Exactly. So that's a good pull there. My next name here, and this I want to explain this. I have down Gavin Wimsatt, and I want to explain why. Brock Vandegrift, there was a couple week period like a month ago where it was like, man, Wimsatt's playing well. Is this going to get interesting? Vandegrift's QB1. There's no more debate there. But they sound like they're going to use Gavin Wimsatt in some situations. Now, Carson, are you a fan of that personally?
Yeah, I'm a fan because you can create plays the defense won't expect and plays you could throw in. Like say against South Carolina, you play Gavin some because it's a game that you probably should win, and maybe you get some opportunities for him to get in. And maybe even there's some instances like say you go on the road to Ole Miss, you don't play Gavin at all because you don't think you use him. But then at Texas, their defense sets up differently. So maybe you think you could use Gavin to create some mismatches. I really like the idea of that.
So here, let me push back on that a little bit. There's two schools of thought to we're going to put in our running quarterback. There's people that love it and there's people that don't like it.
Yeah. I mean, there's instances where it doesn't work out. And for me, I think trying it is the least we can do because if you don't try it, you're never going to really know. But if it comes out and it fails, then maybe you get rid of it. But if it comes out and it's Alabama, Jalen Hurts, Tua Tagovailoa, then maybe you keep it.
But to me, I look at it and I go, you put Gavin Wimsatt out there, we're running the football. And then, maybe once we're going to throw it. And, and that's going to sure, you're going to get somebody once on that. I think it gets QB1 out of rhythm. I think I'm anti that. I know once again, it's two schools of thought. Now, he's on my list because they're going to do it. You know what I mean? That's why
what I was thinking too is I know fans really might not like this idea, but if you get up, say it's fourth quarter, 10 minutes left, you're up 2 touchdowns against South Carolina, you put in Wimsatt to do our drive to run the clock out. You know what I'm saying? If you're going to go run heavy, why don't you put the quarterback that can run in with
option, little RPO type stuff.
Yeah. And then all he has to do is either hand it off, keep it, or make an RPO read to a receiver that won't be that challenging.
On a slant or something.
Yeah.
I get it. What I'm saying is I think it throws the quarterback, this being Vandegrift, off their timing, out of rhythm. That's my issue with it.
I can see it.
So once again, the reason I have him on my list is because they're going to do it. They've said they're going to do it. So he had to be on the list. But I'm not the biggest fan of it. But I agree.
Injuries happen too. So if Brock's a little banged up in a couple games and you really need to throw Gavin in there, you can throw him in and you'll be happy with what he gives you.
Exactly. Yeah, I'm with you on that. Now, the other school of thought too is it gives your backup quarterback some reps in case something were to happen to Brock.
And you get him some reps. If Brock's really good this year, then Gavin steps in to be the starter next year, and it works out perfectly.
Yeah. I'm with you on that. So who's your next guy on your list, Carson?
Yeah, these next 2 picks, I have like a slash between both players. Okay. So I have for this one, it's in our secondary. I have DJ Waller, and I might butcher his name. I think it's Kirsten Story. From Alabama. But these 2 guys are both elite corners and DBs. I think DJ Waller won Freshman of the Week 5 times with Michigan last year and played a lot of snaps in their national title run. So that, of course, is a big deal. And then Story out of Alabama. I mean, anytime you get someone who played meaningful snaps at Alabama, it's got to be a good thing, right?
Exactly.
So I think he could come in and make a big impact because there was some chatter last year. I mean, we had some issues on with the defensive backs. I know Andrew Phillips got drafted, and congrats to him, but there was some issues in the secondary, and it could be just because our run stop was so good, the teams just completely abandoned the run and threw, which that could be the case. But I think both of these guys are going to be huge for us in the secondary.
I like both of them. I mean, when you pull players, they were on college football playoff teams last year.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I mean, these are no joke players. I think it's great to bring in talent like this to Kentucky. And I think that you got Maxwell Harrison still out there with these guys. This secondary is going to take that step forward. Kentucky's defense. And it's funny because you keep saying, well, the defensive line is going to be great. They're going to stop the run. You have some great guys coming off the edge. Oh, and then the linebackers might be a top 5 unit in college football. Oh, and then you go get Waller and Story, and you still got Maxwell Harrison. This defense is going to be nasty.
Well, I give you a stat. There was a guy on Twitter, I forget his name, so I apologize. But he was doing he does analytics on all the defenses coming into this season. He had Kentucky ranked second. Yeah, he had Kentucky ranked as the second best defense.
And I don't think you can fight that at all. I think that their defense is going to be.
I mean, you return really good, arguably the best nose guard and the best. I mean, Maxwell Harrison led the nation in interceptions.
Yeah.
I mean, returning 2 of those guys and then adding a butt kiss award winner with Dumas Johnson and then already having Derek Jackson in there. I mean, JJ Weaver on top of that. I mean, you can name guys for days, and you got a really good defense, and it's really exciting.
Deion Walker makes a good defense himself. I mean, he's that good.
And I wanted to add one more thing about this DJ Waller guy. He's the prototypical corner. He's an NFL guy. I mean, he's 6'3". I mean, you get that size and speed at corner, you love that.
Yeah, long arms probably. You know, I mean, no question.
Can press because he's got long arms. Can chuck guys off the line.
Exactly. Yeah, I'm with you there. The next guy I have here is a name that I think last offseason we hyped up a lot. And then this offseason, it's kind of like, well, yeah, he's still here. And it's Josh Caddis. He's a guy, the year he really, it was against Louisville. He had that huge catch, wasn't it, 2 years ago?
Yeah.
And people kind of went, this kid's going to be great next year. And
you know what happened?
What happened?
Injuries.
Yeah.
Injuries. He hurt his leg in that Louisville game, and it sidelined him for a while. But Caddis is one of the most talented tight ends I've seen.
But I think he's great. I think he's due for a breakout season. And it's not just as let me see what they have him listed as. I've got it pulled up here. They have him listed at 6'4", 246. Not quite, where Jack Monday is, but still solid for a tight end. Shout out Jack Monday per usual. But he's got the size to help block and to help go get open and catch passes. I think he's going to have the breakout season we were anticipating last year, this year, and you've got a solid tight end room, in my opinion. But I still think Caddis is going to be really good, even if it's just some snaps. He's a guy that I haven't heard a lot of people talking about, and I still believe the upside and talent is there for Caddis.
Yeah, like you just said, and I kind of want to get into this a little deeper. The tight end room, I think, is probably the best tight end room we've had since Mark Stoops has been here, and probably since we've been a program. Because Caddis, he's really, really good. And then Dingle is another guy who's been good for us in the past. And then you add to that room, I know he played a little bit last year, Kamari Anderson. I think he's going to be an absolute stud. I think he's one of the vertical threat tight ends that is going to be – I
love those type of guys. Those type of guys are the ones that make football fun.
Yeah. Like, I wouldn't go as deep as to say like a Kyle Pitts, but kind of that prototype. And then you got another kid from – where did he play? I think it was Covcath. Willie Rodriguez?
Yeah, the freshman. Yeah. Carson Nash is the resident I'm taking Kyle Pitts every year guy. I'm just
I don't ever take Kyle Pitts.
Give me Kyle Pitts.
No, no thanks. No, but Willie Rodriguez has been showing out in camp too. So I think that whole room could be listed under this. Because I think all of them bring something different to the table and all very effective.
Yeah, I like that Willie Rodriguez kid. I think he's going to be great when it's his time. This year's not his time, but when it's his time.
That tandem, like, you know how I think Caddis and Dingle will be the tandem this year. That tandem of Anderson Rodriguez is going to be next level.
That's going to feed families. It's going to be exciting. Who's your next? You said you have a group. Who's your next?
I have another group, and mine is Jason Patterson and Jamarion Wilcox. And these are two running backs. Jason Patterson had decommitted from Cincy, committed to Kentucky, had a really good camp, was looked really good. And Wilcox has been in the program. He's actually a redshirt freshman. He was a really high-rated running back, and he committed to Kentucky over a lot of good schools.
5'10", 197.
Yeah. Ooh. Yeah. He can fly. He is a very, very fast running back.
But I look for these guys too. That's why I like him.
He's thick. He's thick boy. He can do it all.
Yeah.
He's one that I kind of tabbed him as this last year, and it never really panned out. But now I think he's starting to build more and more and become that player that I thought he was going to be. So I'm really, really excited for this kid. And of course, Jason Patterson. I don't know as much, but I've heard really good things. I mean, he is a true freshman. So having a redshirt freshman and a true freshman as your two backup running backs to start the season is definitely something, but it could be a good thing. So you never really know. And I'm excited about both these guys. They're both dynamic, can both get to the end zone. Really, really excited about the running back room as a whole.
It's a room. You're in a spot where you're going to be without Chip for a couple weeks. I just love saying Chip. That's so funny.
Yeah, Chip.
Really, yeah.
We needed Dale, Chip and Dale.
Yeah, that'd be
Imagine if Brock's name was Dale, Chip and Dale. That'd be
great. Cool. Or like one of the offensive linemen like creating holes. That'd be
yeah.
But I think that this running back room, we're very fortunate that you're going to be without Chip for a couple games, and I'm not worried about it. You know what I mean? When I saw that news, I went, I like our young guys. I like Demi Sumbo-Karmbe. We're in a spot where we're going to be okay without our guy for a couple games. And I think not every school can say that.
Yeah, I think Demi can be the guy that's like kind of holds everything steady and like gets you a good amount of gains and stuff. And I mean, I'm kind of talking a little crazy because what we saw with Demi last year, he had a break tackle percentage higher than Benny Snell and Chris Rodriguez. I get it was in lower snap quantity, but that's still pretty impressive. So I think he's going to be really good. But having these two guys that can be your boom backs that just fly and can take you one-play touchdowns, you know what I'm saying? So I think you got a little mix of both in there. So I'm pretty excited.
Yeah, I'm all around excited for that room. My next guy I have is Ty Bryant, a Lexington kid, went to Frederick Douglass, a guy who played more snaps last year than I thought.
Chiefs.
He was,
He played for the Chiefs with my brother growing up. Little wee ball football.
Oh yeah. Well, he was a good baseball player too, wasn't he?
He was a great baseball player. I'm pretty sure they went to the World Series yeah, they did. He was with Eastern. Wasn't he?
Yeah, I've got a video of him. That's hilarious.
Yeah, he went to the World Series.
That was in
You know who coached that team?
Yeah, Jeff Gannan did.
Yeah.
You know what's so funny? I remember we watched that. I got to find this now because this was in my memories on my phone like 2 days ago. And it was a video of me watching that. And Ty Bryant was on.
And he was by far the tallest and biggest player on that team.
That is hilarious. I wish I could find that. I'd play it. But it was like their little like intros. You know what I mean?
When he goes to the NFL, that'll be a good fun thing to look back on.
I wish I could find that because it was like, but beside the point. But I remember because I was taking a video of Dylan Gannan that's in like to our baseball group chat because we played with his brother Cole.
Yeah.
And I remember, Ty Bryant was on there, and we knew Ty Bryant. I mean, I know, but that's
my only varsity high school plate appearance was against Ty Bryant as well.
Is that true?
Yeah, remember Frederick Douglass? Yeah, he pitched for them.
Was that? Well, I know that. Was that junior year?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it had to have been junior.
It was junior. Yeah, it was junior.
And I remember that because I was sitting there at the end of the game. We were up 1 million, and I was like, come on, let me hit. I didn't get the hit. It was bull crap. I'm still mad about that. They put you, and it was Jacobson or so. I mean, I don't remember who it was. But whoever.
Plus, you're talking about high school baseball.
Josh Moore. I mean, Josh Moore, where are you? Where are you, pal? But I remember I didn't get the hit, and I was so angry because I thought I was going to get the hit. Would have definitely gone yard too. It's beside the point.
I almost went yard.
I do remember that. You did. Like I remember that. Yeah. Because I was thinking they're going to be like, Andrew Carson, go swing a bat. You're going to hit in the top of the 7th. We'll win by 9 runs. And then it was you and somebody, and I forget who it was. Whoever it is, I'm going to go smack them when I remember, but it's fine. Gosh, darn it. No varsity. I got one varsity at bat too. We were in Myrtle Beach or wherever Hilton Head. But my next guy, so Ty Bryant, I didn't even get to talk about
why you like him.
He played a lot more snaps last year than I had thought. He played about 300 snaps, and he graded out well. His coverage grade was a 69. His overall grade was a 71.4. Nice overall numbers there.
Nice.
And Ty Bryant is a guy who he's just an athletic specimen. He's a really good player. The coaching staff loves him, and I haven't heard a lot of people talking about him. And he,
you know what he is. He's a multi-sport guy. And those guys always end up being really good at whatever sport they end up picking.
Yeah.
Because they've played it all. They have the hand-eye of a baseball player. They have the physicality and body of a football player. And then they have the touch like a basketball player. So, it all works out.
So, I think he's going to play a role this year. Is he going to be a starter? I've seen him in the 2 deep on a lot of predictions. I think he's going to be a great player. I assume he's in the 2 deep, but he's going to play snaps. And
I think our defense is so good, the 2 deep could start somewhere else.
Agreed. And because Ty Bryant's a great football player.
Yeah.
So I'm with you on that. So who is number 1 on your list?
And my number 1 is a transfer. He is from Kentucky originally. Mm-hmm. He is a transfer from University of South Florida. I got Fred Ferrier III running it up. I got him. He's been booming in camp. Hardly Gilmore suffered an injury, unfortunately, because he would have been on that. He would have been right in that area as well. So I think Fred takes his snaps, and he's been really, really solid in camp. Only good things have been said about him. So I'm really excited to see how he is. He's a good high point receiver. He can go high point the ball. He's a playmaker. Like, get him the ball, he'll make plays. And you all are going to be seeing a lot of it come. What is it? August 31st.
He transferred from UAB. Bill
was
Nye,
it?
Science guy.
Was it UAB?
Yeah. I had to look it up. I didn't know. I had to look it
UAB, South Florida. I feel like they look the same.
UAB is the Dragons. How cool is that? I was reading the Dragons.
That is Carson cool. I thought South Florida was the Dragons too, or something like that.
They're the Bulls.
They're the Bulls. That's right. Yeah, I got them. I get those mixed up.
My where he went to college is unmatched compared to my college mascots. It's pretty crazy stuff. That's my other goal. We'll do that this weekend too. We'll call Trevor. We'll say we're going to sit down and we're going to do
where do you go?
Mascots. Yeah, where do you go to college? We do that all the time.
You got a good one for the fans.
Where do you go to college?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I'm not going to say. Should I say leave in the comments?
Yeah.
All right. Aaron Jones. Where do you go to college?
Aaron Jones. That's a good one.
A good one.
I know where he went.
I do too. It's it's a out there school. So that's why it's if you know, pat on the back to you. Sprite from Carson to you.
Guarantee you Michael and Jake know. Mike Collins and Jake Nash know where he went.
Mike knows because I told him. The other day, Mike, I'm going to have to he got a shout out. He gets a business shout out. He's going to get made fun of on this podcast. That's how we roll. The other day, he's a big Packers fan. And we were doing that, and we go, Jordan Love. You were there. Remember that?
Yeah. He didn't know where Jordan Love went.
He goes, well, he knew, but he was like, well, I wanted to be certain that I didn't say it wrong. But he sat there for like 2 minutes and was like, Utah State. We're like, yeah.
We were at the Mexican restaurant. I whispered in your ear. I was like, that's right, isn't it? You're like, yeah.
Yeah. And that's what it was. Yeah. Because, with the waitress.
Yeah.
No. But there you go. So that is a player who I think Ferrier is going to be really, I agree with you. Now, his role is going to be interesting because receivers a position, my goodness.
Oh, loaded.
Barryon and Dane and Macklin and Ferrier.
Anthony Brown Stevens and Fred Ferrier. I think those 5 guys, I mean, gosh, Andrew, the more I talk about this team, the more I'm getting excited about them because, like, I don't see many weaknesses, and these rooms are looking.
And there's a lot of guys that we're talking about that not a lot of people. That's the whole point of this podcast. Not a lot of people are talking about these names, and they're all great players. That's what's exciting. We're not talking about Vandegrift and Barryon and Maxwell Harrison and Deion Walker.
Yeah, those guys speak for themselves.
The slept-on guys,
and
that's what's so impressive about this roster is we could add 20 more names to this list. We could.
That's 10. Well, we've got 12 people that we talking about on this,
and I think there's more.
There's more,
a lot more. Yeah, I'm with you on that. My last guy, and I know Carson Nash loves kickers. It's just a fact. I mean, Carson Nash loves kickers.
Love kickers. Love the offensive line. Make the world go round.
Yes, they do. Yes, they do. We never get angry at kickers or the offensive line. Ever. Never have once.
Unless they get stupid penalties.
And then that makes you mad. Fair enough. Well, I'm glad to know what really grinds your gears. But Alex Rayner, man, having a good kicker, all kidding aside about kickers, Having a good kicker is a weapon. When you're within the 40-yard line and coach can go, or, the 35, whatever, and coach can go.
Kicker.
Yeah.
3 points automatic.
Probably. Yeah. 3. So when coach can do that and say, we'll take the 3 anywhere from 35 around there, or maybe the 40 pushed it, because that'd be 57, right? 40.
Kickers are always the highest scorers.
Yeah. And so
in every record book, the highest scorer will always be the best kicker.
Yeah. But having a good one is a weapon. Not a lot of people talk about it. When coach can just say, go, we need 3 points. Go in there. We're on the 36. Go kick a field goal. We need 3 points. That is huge. Having that ability.
And I don't think we've had that since. We haven't had that since McGinnis, I don't think.
No kidding. Yeah. And I think Rayner, he missed 1 kick last year, right? Like, he was great. And his kicks, I'm telling you, here's the goalpost. You could have brought him to here, and he would have still been as good as he was. He was down center every time. He's a great kicker, and it's going to be huge when this team's in a late game situation. We need 3 points for a win, to tie a game, whatever. I believe Rayner's going to go out there and he's going to split the sticks. That's how good of a kicker he is. And it is a weapon, and it's not something I've heard a lot of people talk about. So I'm excited about our kicker. Yes, I said it.
Yeah. And I'll note one more. His name's Jacob Kawhi, or his last name, I definitely could be butchering that one. It's spelled a little weird. But they brought him in, and I think he may punt some for us too. And that would be massive, because I think our punting last year, our special teams overall was very good, because our kicking and our return game was elite. So the punt game definitely struggled. It definitely struggled. We had some like under 30-yard punts. That can't happen.
Yeah. I've always said, when you need a good punter, go get him from Billings, Montana. And that's what we did.
Yeah.
That's where he's from.
Yeah. And so I think he could come in, and punting is huge.
It is.
You're on the 35, and you flip the field and put them in their 10-yard. That takes away a drive from them.
Yeah.
So special teams is massive. It wins games. It just is. And so I think shoring up things on that side of the ball is huge.
Agreed. I'm with you on that. That's all the guys that we've got. Carson, any other thoughts before we call it a week here on the show?
I would say go out and I'm going to endorse something real quick. Go out and grab you a Kentucky Blue beer if you're of age. All proceeds go to Kentucky NIL. And so I want to bump that as much as possible, because I know me and you want to see the best players play at Kentucky.
And what else do we love?
We love cold snacks. So that also helps.
Right. We do.
I know I'll be drinking at least 10 of them on next Saturday. So you all should stop by and stop by your nearest store that sells them, and go pick some up.
And I believe there's some places that have it on tap. KS Bar has it on tap.
KS Bar has it on tap. I think that's the only one as of right now, but that'll probably get added.
Yeah, you'll start seeing that at B-Dubs. You'll start seeing that at local, places where you can go and support with this beer. So I'm very excited about that. That's going to do it for this week here on the Wildcats Today podcast. 3 shows this week. It was a ton of fun. And listen, next week we're gonna have 3 as well. We'll talk a little bit about Jasper Johnson, talk a little bit of football, get ready for the first Catterday. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button, hit the like button. It helps the show a ton. Hope everyone has an outstanding weekend. If you're at the Foreigner or the Styx concert, come say hi. We'll be there. Have a great weekend, and we will see you on Tuesday right here on the Wildcats Today podcast.